Welcome back to Healing the Gap, and we have part two where we cover Aspire at Hathaway Brown. My name is Morgan, as you guys know, and here we have...
Hi, my name is Desiree Neal, and I'm a current core teacher here at Hathaway Brown. I teach 8th grade English, and I'm also an alum of the Aspire program.
Great. So I guess we just want to start out by, thinking about like your reflections from the summer and how things have been. So definitely would love to open up. We'll start. What was the most powerful learning experience that you've had so far this summer?
That's a good question. So I taught 8th grade English, and the focus was public speaking and the narrative. And this summer I chose to kind of, instead of just doing like a regular narrative, I wanted to really dive into personal narratives, because I think it's so important that students are able to, share their stories and learn the power that comes from within that. And so it was just it was such an impactful moment for me, just seeing them grow as writers and grow as people and just get comfortable sharing their stories on a more personal and public level with each other, practicing vulnerability and just really, really embracing that process of writing. And within that, it also inspired me to continue to feel comfortable telling my story, seeing them tell theirs.
That's beautiful. What led you to pick like language arts and English as one of the core subjects you wanted to teach this summer?
So I've always loved English, but the first place that I actually felt like my writing and my words matter was actually at Aspire. And it was interesting because before the whole process started, I had picked either history or maybe English as my two potential subjects. And I keep a bin of my Aspire stuff back from when I was in middle school, and I had a teacher who wrote grows and glows. And for a grow, one of them was, you're an amazing English, you're amazing at English and like never stop writing. And I was like, wow, to me that was almost like reassurance that English was what I needed to pursue at Aspire, knowing that that's where it all started for me, feeling confident in my writing and having somebody, one of the first people or teachers in my life who really, really encouraged me on that level in terms of my writing skills and telling my story and just English in general. So I think that's where I developed my love, but that was the reassurance I needed to teach English at Aspire, I think.
I know earlier we kind of talked about how it was kind of like a full circle.
Yeah.
Like you went from Aspire to HB, back at Aspire, now in a different role. And I definitely want to talk to you a little bit more about kind of like the role of being a core teacher, and what were some challenges you faced and that you had to overcome, given that, same place but very much different thing?
Okay. That's a good question too. I think one of the biggest things is that, two big things that I can think of is that the first is relationships are crucial. And when I went to Aspire, I had 3 years to familiarize myself with my other peers, with my JTs who are junior teachers and my core teachers. And then coming to HB, I had, 4 years to familiarize myself. And even though it was full circle, this was still a fresh start for me. So I wanted to have those bonds and relationships with my students, because I feel like that is what really drives the classroom. That is what encourages students to continue wanting to pursue learning and just enjoying the Aspire experience in general. So I think overcoming maybe not knowing any of my students beforehand, or even any of my other core teachers or JTs, in such a similar and familiar but yet new environment for me, because this is a fresh start in a new position. So I think relationships was one of the biggest things, just bonding and really taking that, just grasping that. That was really something I had to overcome. And I'm happy that I did, because I love all my students that I taught this year. I love all my coworkers, but that was a big thing for me.
I can tell they loved you.
Yeah.
I was at the ceremony last night, and they cheered so loud every time you walked up to the podium. Well, I can tell that they really do love you.
I love them so much back.
I was like, the atrium was vibrating with these shrieks.
But that was something I was happy I was able to, really just take part of and kind of overcome. And then another thing was, I love English, but as a core teacher, at least for me, I haven't graduated with a degree, and I'm an upcoming sophomore. So for me, I know English and I know the subject pretty well, but there's still so many things that I don't know. And so that's why for me it was so important to have DTs, which are directing teachers, who helped me overcome how to do lesson planning. Lesson planning is hard. I'm gonna keep it real. It's hard. It's so much work that goes into it, and you never see the behind the scenes, at least as a student. But lesson planning, classroom management, all of those things I had to overcome, but it was so helpful having someone who had been in my shoes once before be able to provide that assistance for me. So those three things, I think: classroom management, just creating those bonds, and then just really lesson planning and really making sure I'm able to teach what I know to my students to the best of my ability, I think, for sure.
And then kind of to piggyback off of a challenge, what moment or moments, you can pick more than one, were you most proud of this summer for yourself?
That's a good question too. I said it like 3 times, but you asked me really good questions.
Thank
you. What moment was I most proud of?
Yeah, or you felt the most pride, either for yourself or for your students or just the Aspire community as a whole, whichever resonates most with you.
I think the first thing, so CTs are also, they're also tasked with coming up with a workshop for their students. And I chose musical theater. I have a passion for musical theater. I love to sing, dance, act, the whole nine. It really brings me joy. But this summer, I was a little hesitant. How am I going to, teach such a broad topic and just experience the students? But by the end of it, it was so amazing. And I was so proud of my students for taking a dive into musical theater and really coming out feeling more confident in themselves. And it was just a beautiful thing to see them really unlocking new passions. I saw people who at the beginning were like, I don't know if I like acting, but I don't know if I like singing or dancing. And then by the end, they love all three. And so I was just proud of them for really taking advantage of the moment and the experience and just walking away seeing them enjoy something new for them. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's so fun. What plays and musicals did you introduce them to? I heard you sing "I'm Here." I love the color purple.
Me, you both. So one thing I did was The Wiz.
Ooh,
I did The Wiz.
Yes.
That's a good one. Yeah, and surprisingly, a lot of them haven't seen it.
That's crazy. I saw The Wiz way before I saw The Wizard of Oz.
Same, me too. But either way, they hadn't been exposed to it. But we did an acting scene, and then we did. They made their own dance. So they got a lot of choice, a lot of creative liberties. I exposed them to what each individual thing is about, singing, dancing, and acting. But they really took that opportunity and they were allowed to create and just have choice in what they wanted. So we did pick the Wiz as a collective, but they created the dances and just the scenes, acting, everything. It was just a collective experience, but that was a really interesting, fun moment, I think. Yeah, we did The Wiz. We also looked at The Little Mermaid. We looked at The Lion King. It was good.
That's good. So, to the listeners, me and Desi have actually met once before. We had a fun little convo. Given we're both alums of the same school. I remember last time we spoke, I'm not sure if you remember, we talked about physical space. And how that impacts community. And so I just kind of wanted to ask what this physical space and what this community means to you.
I think this community means really everything to me. Aspire was one of the first communities where I think I felt welcomed and where I was truly embraced for being who I was. And not only was I embraced, but I was encouraged to continue being who I was. And I always felt loved at every stage of my development, because Aspire really allows you to grow not only as a student but as a person. And when you're in middle school, that is such a crucial stage of your life, and it's important that you have that safe space to do so, to step into who you not only are but who you're becoming. And I really appreciate Aspire. I don't think I'd be who I am today without the Aspire program. It's something I recommend to all my friends and family members and strangers that maybe I've never met before, but I encourage everyone I come in contact with to really indulge in the program at any level. And even then, I promise it is something that will alter your life for the rest of your life and your days to come. So it is just really an amazing program. Yeah. And I'm honored to have been a part of it at every stage so far. And I'm hoping I can continue to do the same.
Yeah. I love how you and Koya and Michelle talked about choice being a big part of Aspire.
Yep.
And I remember even just being a student at Hathaway Brown, that's also like a big thing here.
Yeah.
Like a part of HB2 was like having a breadth of options, and the fact that Aspire is a safe space where young, predominantly POC, Black and brown girls feel safe to choose what they want to be, and what they want to do.
Yeah.
It's such an empowering experience in like teaching kids that there's a lot of power in their choices and thinking of how to make the right ones. And yeah, it's just, I love how that kind of all bridges together.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And kind of closing up, what is the future looking like for you, kind of having this experience? How has this role like impacted your thoughts on teaching in the future and education?
I think for me, this summer was the confirmation that I needed to continue to pursue education. I'm actually an education major at Case Western, and so to just have this experience, it was just a reminder that this is where I need to be and what I want to do, and that I can take pride in that, and that this experience is one that is worth pursuing. And so I want to continue being involved in education, and whether that's inside the school as a teacher, principal, or anything of that sort, but just making sure I'm able to continue to be an advocate for the youth and their experiences, and making sure that they have these choices and these opportunities, and that these experiences are being presented to them at a global level, community level, at any level, but that they're being offered to them for sure.
Right. Yeah, I like something that a theme that always kind of comes up with Aspire is this theme of like knowing yourself, or some essence of like transformation. You even see that with the butterfly.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask, like, how has Aspire like either informed or transformed like your thinking of yourself and community?
In terms of myself, I think Aspire has helped me realize for sure that it's not how you start all the time. It's more so how you end. And we're all on this journey, right, to better ourselves and every day to become better people. But Aspire has taught me that that's possible, and that we all possess the ability to do so and to really grow into the people that we are. It's taught me that resilience is important. When I was in middle school, that's a big word for middle schoolers. That was the first time I ever had heard of that word, resilience, right? Such a big word at a young age in 6th, 7th, or even 8th grade to hear that word. But it's taught me that resilience, this idea of bouncing back from setbacks, is important. So just really, Aspire has kind of allowed me to develop this mindset that like growth is possible,
right?
Bouncing back is possible from setbacks, and that as long as you continue to try to be the best version of you that you can be, that life, things can get better, your experiences will come to you, and yeah.
I love that. Yeah, this is such an important program.
Yeah.
For like Cleveland, just girls in general, HB. And like this was my first, like last night was my first time coming to an Aspire closing ceremony, and all I just kept thinking about was like, I've never seen so many Black people in this school at one time.
Yeah.
And it just like, as I was like walking through the halls, like I told you, every time I come in here, I'm sweating. Because I'm just like, all the flashbacks, all the emotions when I walk back into this place. And to hear like Somewhere Over the Rainbow like playing as I walked through the halls leading me to the atrium, I was like, I'm going to cry. And I'd like, it was just, I was like, oh, I love this place. And I love this program and like what it's done.
Yeah, for sure.
How it's just like the impact it's had on like so many people's lives, and something we talk about in public health is how education is like a social determinant of health and really can impact your well-being. And there's been studies showing that like summer times there's often like it leads to a lot of gaps for kids who have different access to different summer learning opportunities, and how Aspire is really doing that work to help, heal that gap. That's the name of our podcast. Like, mend that to some extent and kind of, making sure not only that these kids have like we all all these kids are brilliant. All kids start out so brilliant and so smart, and it's just about like hitting them young and building up that confidence and making sure they know that they can do these things. And self-confidence is so important, especially in like young Black women. Yes, for sure. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. For sure. Well, that's all we have for your time. Thank you for meeting with us today. This was so much fun. It was a joy. I'm so happy. Yes, so happy I got thank to do you this. And I wish you best of luck as you head back to school. Thank you. Go Spartans. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you all for listening. And now we have a student here from Aspire to talk about her experiences from the summer. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Rana Abzalhadi. I am an Aspire graduate of class 2023. Yeah. Great.
Thank you. I guess we just want to, again, talk about like your reflections from the summer and how this summer went, and if it relates to previous summers that you've had here at Aspire as well. So to start off, would love to hear about what your most powerful learning moment has been so far.
I think my most powerful learning moment is when my teachers, they would teach us like different ways of how to do stuff for our own comfort, because they would listen to us. At some schools that I've gone to in the past, they would just stick to one way and it wouldn't be as comfortable. But in Aspire, we have these moments where our teachers would break us up and they would like tell us different ways of how to do stuff, so it'd be easier for us and more comfortable for us.
Oh, I love that. So they kind of like would really take your feedback, and if something didn't feel right, it was easy to like pivot and to try something new when it came to like approaching like a topic or like anything. Yeah. What was one of your favorite subjects so far from the summer?
Okay, it was definitely math, because our teacher, Mr. Rendon, he was so fun and open, and he was so just like open to new ideas, and it was so comforting, and it would be easy to tell him anything because it's just he just slides right in. He could just like understand you, and he could have his own experiences come into yours, and you guys could make like a solution, which is why I think math was the easiest and the best subject. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, math is fun. Yeah. Not everyone thinks so, but it can be if you have a really great teacher like you had, and you go into like a really good mindset. Something else that we definitely want to hear about are just some challenges that you had this summer and like how you overcame them.
Oh, I had a lot, I think, but I overcame most of them. One of the challenges was like finding my place again this summer. I feel like there was a lot of different things from last summer because we, especially with the graduation, feel like we had to overcome like that feeling of uneasiness, and we just really had to adapt, especially with the new directors and just everything kind of coming back to normal. But I think one of the biggest challenges I had to overcome was like the feeling of everybody has to go at some point, because because of graduating this year, I had to let go of a lot of things, and it was very sad and emotional. But yeah, I'm trying to overcome that right now.
Okay. No, I understand. It's hard to. Sometimes you feel like you're gonna like start fresh and start anew, and yeah, I understand. I'm also a very like sentimental person, and there's a lot of, I could tell that you guys have a really good community, and there was a lot of like really powerful sisterhood energy in that space that would be hard to like let go of, right at that instant. So I empathize. What moment have you been like most proud of yourself this summer?
I feel like I had a couple, but two that stood out to me is when I actually had the courage for our talent show to go up and sing with a couple of friends, and we got to rickroll the whole school, so it was really fun. Yeah, also, it was just out of my comfort zone. I would never, ever sing in front of everyone. Also, my speech for my graduation, it was entirely new. I'm not really a speech person. I'm very optimistic, but I'm not that optimistic, so yeah, I think doing my speech for my graduation in front of tons of people is just completely new to me, and I'm very proud that I actually did that in a good way.
Yeah, I was there. I heard it. It was very good.
Thank you.
I was very impressed by everyone's speech.
Yeah.
You guys were all very, very thoughtful and had really kind things to say about each other and yourselves and the teachers that you worked with, and it was I was like, I don't even know these kids. I feel so much pride. Like, it was very beautiful to see. Something else that we've chatted about, I chatted about it with Mrs. Neal as well, is like the importance of like space and community. So I just wanted to get your perspective of what does this space and community like mean to you?
Aspire in its community is very strong, and I said that in my speech. And the fact that sometimes they would let you go, and it makes you feel safe, really, and open, which causes most people here to like develop their sense of comfort. And the community in here is so healthy that it like makes you open to so many new feelings, and maybe you have to like you're opening up about yourself, and you're actually like learning more about yourself and others. The importance of a safe space is very important. It's what helps you develop yourself and what helps make your personality. And Aspire has exceeded my expectations for that. And they had made me feel so mesmerized by how good of a sisterhood and how good of a connection we all had to each other. And I feel like it's very, very strong. And I think it's impenetrable, really.
I like that word.
I used it in my speech. I remembered it.
That's a good one. Keep using that one. I guess, sorry, my brain just like blanked on me. I'm still thinking about the word impenetrable. Oh, now I remember. Okay, yes. So, I know we kind of chatted a little bit. School year's coming up. How does Aspire kind of help you get ready for the school year? Do you notice like a difference in your school years or in yourself and your confidence and things like that when you've had a Aspire summer versus when you didn't have Aspire summers?
Yes, there was a big change in myself, my confidence, everything really about me when I started Aspire, because Aspire made me realize that I'm the most important person in my life and I have to take care of myself before others. And I really think that Aspire not only has taught me like math and other subjects and academics, but it also has taught me like to prepare for mental changes and just like make myself feel good no matter what I'm going through. And it's ever since I started Aspire, I feel like my confidence has been boosted, and I feel like kind of people like me more. I'm not sure, but because of my personality just being so outspoken and out there, I have been like a totally new person. Because like before that, I was shy and I didn't know what I was doing, but now I'm more bold and more positive. Yeah, and that was a huge change.
Yeah, I guess this kind of goes to like the next question, or our last big question that we wanted to ask is kind of, it kind of relates. There's a lot of language in Aspire, in the way like you guys talk about the program and the way others talk about the program, about it really being about like growth and transformation, even like your even like the logo is a butterfly, which is like the ultimate symbol of like transforming. So we wanted to ask like what are ways like how has Aspire like informed you or how like transformed the way you like think about like yourself and like the people that you're around, like your community and also like school?
There's a lot of ways, really. I think one of the ways that has kind of transformed me is that, again, I'm more positive and more energetic, but I also feel like I have slowly been putting myself together piece by piece with the help of Aspire, because before that, I don't know, it just felt so wrong to know about my emotions and know that I could connect with someone so deeply. But now in Aspire, I feel like I have been like informed about like your emotions and your personality matter, and especially with our year's like subject and like main topic, SOAR, it has been like, it's been really hard for me to let go. So I think that our topic of SOAR has made me realize that we have now transformed into butterflies and we're ready to go. Like everybody has their own path. So yeah, I feel like Aspire just kind of got me ready for the real world and how it might feel to be independent one day. So yeah, I feel like I've hooked on to that main topic and I've made myself realize that now I'm a butterfly, I'm free. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I know you talked about like, you know, like the fighting that like letting go.
Yeah.
But it seems that there is still a lot that Aspire has given you and that you're taking. And the way like you talk about your experiences and what it's like done for you and like how it's kind of like we said, like transformed you and freed you and things like that. But this was a great conversation. I really liked talking to you. This was so much fun.
Thank you for letting me be here, I guess.
Of course. Just thank you for coming back on your day off. Like your school's done.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you all and thank you.
Yeah, thank you.